Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? AZD here with you with a quick news break about what's going on. Now, the House of Representatives just okayed the debt ceiling bill to avoid default, and it's going to be sending it to the Senate, and after Biden, hopefully President Biden will be able to sign off on it, because right now, a lot of people saying it's what's needed. Some people might agree, some people might not agree, but many think that the debt ceiling needs to be raised, and they're glad that they found a deal. So Biden and McCarthy end up getting a deal, and we got the debt ceiling going to be rising. So House Speaker Kevin McCarthy of California, along with Republican member of the House Speaker, was at a new conference at the House passed the debt ceiling bill at the Capitol on Wednesday. So this news is coming from PBS, NPR, WGC out of Florida, and the news go by: Washington is veering away from the default crisis. The House approved debt ceiling and budget cuts package late Wednesday as President Joe Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy assembled a bipartisan coalition. So that's a good thing, because it's bipartisan, of centrist Democrats and Republicans against fierce conservative blowback and progressive dissent. So there's a lot of people, a lot of conservatives that was, they didn't like the agreement that was going through. Same thing with the progressive. Some things they think should have been in the bill, but it wasn't in the bill. But it's a Fiscal Responsibility Act, and we have it going on right now. The hard-fought deal pleased few, but lawmakers assessed it was better than the alternative of devastating the economic, and not just the U.S. economic, the global economic. The economic upheaval in Congress failed to act. So it would have been a big problem if Congress didn't act and the U.S. ended up being defaulted on these bills. So tensions ran high throughout the day as hard right Republicans refused to deal with Democrats, said extremist GOP views were risking a debt default as soon as next week. So what we talking about? If not by June 5th, if they didn't reach some kind of agreement of raising this ceiling, we would be at default, and that wouldn't be good. Now, with an overwhelming House vote, 314 to 117, the bill now heads to Senate with a passage expected by the weekend, because they have to have it signed and in place by June 5th. So McCarthy insisted his party was working on Give America Hope as he launched into a late evening speech extolling the bill's budget cuts, which he said were needed to curb Washington's runaway spending. Amid deep discussions from Republicans who said the spending restriction did not go far enough, McCarthy said it's only the first step. The package comes from inroads curbing the nation's debt as Republicans demanded without rolling back the Trump-era tax breaks as Biden wanted to pass it. Biden and McCarthy counted on support from the political sense, a rarity in divided Washington. So a lot of times Republicans and Democrats don't really concede what's going on and have some kind of agreement, but this term they was able to. So in a statement released after the vote, Biden said, "I have been clear that the only path forward is bipartisan compromise that can earn the support of both parties. This agreement meets the test." He called the vote good news for the American people and the American economy. Biden had sent to the top House officials to the Capitol and called lawmakers directly to shore up backing. McCarthy worked to sell skepticals, fellow Republican, even fending off challenges to the leadership in the rush of avert and potential distrust U.S. default. So let's see, debt ceiling. What's in the debt ceiling limit deal? What we have going on right now is going to be swift passage later in the week by the Senate, with endured government checks will continue to go out to Social Security recipients, veterans, and others who would prevent financial upheaval at home and abroad. So next Monday, when the Treasurer has said the U.S. would run short of money to pay its debt. So hopefully by next Monday, we have everything in place. It's signed off. The debt ceiling will be raised. It did pass through the House of Representatives. Now it's going to the Senate to get final approval, signed off, and then it got to go to President Biden to sign off into law. So the debt ceiling deal. What's in the debt ceiling What's in the debt ceiling limit deal? Deal gets thumbs up from businesses groups. Credit downgrade looms over talk. Changes to food aid would increase deficit. So it's a lot of things would have been happening if all of this didn't go place. So after sailing through House on a bipartisan vote, Biden-McCarthy debt ceiling deal now goes to the Senate, ladies and gentlemen. Trump returns to campaign trail in Iowa at the same time with GOP rival DeSantis makes case through New Hampshire voters. Wow. So it's a lot of things going on. The overall 99-page bill restricts spending for the next 2 years, suspend the debt ceiling into January of 2025, and changes some policies, including imposing new work requirement for older Americans receiving food aid. So I think they moved it up to 54. Before it was like 49, but now if you're age 54 or under, you have to have like some kind of work requirement and things like that. And I believe the age was 49 before. So older Americans receiving food aid and green light and Appalachian National Gas line that many Democrats oppose. So some people oppose some things and others didn't. It bolsters funds for the defense and veterans and cuts new money for Internal Revenue Service agents, raising the nation's debt limit now to $31 trillion, ensuring Treasury can borrow to pay already incurred U.S. debts. Now, you can buy some of these debts too, by the way. You can go to the U.S. Treasury, you can buy some of this debt, and the U.S. Treasury will opt in to pay you interest on buying those, I believe they're called T-bills, not Treasury bonds, but like T-bills. But look into that also. But it's going to be a lot of things going on the next couple of years. I can see it goes into 2025. This goes to the Senate. It passed through the House. What is 300 or something? Yeah, about 314 to 117. So now it's going to be on its way to Senate. In regards to, they pulled some money back from the IRS, because I don't know if you recall, I forgot which bill was that. I believe it's the reconciliation bill, but it gave a lot of money to the IRS, and some of that money they'll be taking some of that money back. Also, they'll be cutting defensive funding, I believe, by 1% or something like that. They can't increase it by more than 1%. A lot of things will be going on in the next couple of years, because we have the debt ceiling has risen, so they have the debt limit up more. But also, we're going to have the FOMC going to be having another meeting in June, well, this month, and they might end up raising it another 0.25% or 25 basis points, another 0.25% for the federal fund rate, because inflation still will be going up, especially with basically they're printing more money right now with this debt ceiling. So a lot of things going to be going on for the next couple of years. We got to pay attention to what else is going to be happening. But a good thing is that Social Security will be able to get paid out. The veterans will be able to pay out SSDI, and people who are getting funds, especially like people in the military, people who are getting paid by the federal government, everything should be working out at least for the next couple of years. So once again, it's Ainsley D. Hope you got some value out of this. The U.S. House of Representatives did okay the debt ceiling bill to avoid default, and now it's going to the Senate and President Biden after. So once again, it's Ainsley D. Hope you got some value out of this. Talk to you later. Peace.